wife Patty, Patty's got MS, and sometimes she can walk, and sometimes she can't walk.
And she can talk.
Yeah.
We met about 9 years ago. We both were going through an awful time of our life. We both went through divorces. She was a pharmaceutical rep, a legal drug dealer.
I love her.
I did too. And when we first met, we were going to a divorce workshop, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I walked into a room with 40 women, and that wasn't where I wanted to be. That's where God wanted me to be. I decided I wasn't going to ever have anything to do with another woman. And then she comes up with a cane hobbling up and sat at my table, and she had a look like, "Don't you talk to me, I'll beat you with this cane." Yeah, God knew what he was doing, and by the end of that weekend in that divorce workshop, I got her phone number. And
I ever since.
We both grew up as Christians, but in our life and our walk with Christ, we kind of put him on as co-pilot. We wanted to go ahead and make our money and do our thing. And at first I thought, I've got Christ in my life, and all we have to do is be good and good to others. And I really didn't understand his mercy and grace. And I had a landscape company and had about 9 employees there in Tulsa, and thought I had the world by what. And come to find out I really didn't. And I got mixed up and mad. And it wasn't 2 years later, it went from that quarter paper to an ounce, and I was running around in circles instead of getting more work done. I took a radiator hose to hook up my gas meter, and that wasn't very right. I couldn't pay my bills. And it was about this time, November 15th, when I got busted for manufacturing meth. And see, I just thought I was killing myself. I didn't think I was hurting anybody else. I just thought I was doing it to me. And didn't realize that what effect each one of us have on our families and their friends and our cousins and our aunts and uncles. Now, I found myself in prison. I was madder than heck at everybody that had done it to me. It was always somebody else's fault. It wasn't my fault. And when I got when Thanksgiving came around and I wasn't with my family, I was in there all alone. I didn't get a letter from home. Christmas came around, I didn't get a letter. My bond was $85,000, and I knew nobody was going to get me out of prison. And I got so mad around New Year's Eve that I took it out on 2 of the prisoners, and they took it out on me. And I ended up in solitary confinement. And I began to draw a life-size wizard on the wall with a flask in his hand, and I just remember saying, "If you want me to be a bad boy, I'll show you, bad boy." And at that very moment, God put his arms around me and said I wasn't very good at being a bad boy, and that he still loved me. And that's the minute I learned what grace and mercy was. There is nothing we can do that can outcome God's love for us. We are his children. And from that moment in my life, I said, I'm done. You can be the pilot in my life. I don't want anything I've done messed it up, and I will follow you. You just show me the way. And then as the scripture was read today, it is in prayer. And Jesus isn't a religion, he's a relationship.
Amen.
We have the ability to have the kingdom of God live right in us. And until I understood that, I didn't really know my Savior like I thought I knew my Savior. And so my mom wanted me to go to this divorce workshop. And she knew I was lonely, but I was happy. I was sentenced to, I thought I was facing 20 to life. Back then it was 20 to life. It was considered you had to serve 80% of your time. And I thought, God, I'll be 56 before I get out of here. And I went ahead and got sentenced, and they sentenced me to 8 years. And I thought, well, thank God came up and said, Sally, I'm really worried about you. And I thought, what in the world are you worried about? You know, I've been trying to do everything right so nobody would, you know, I wouldn't get in any trouble. And he said, you're going to church every night, and I'm worried about you. And I said, well, that's not going to change. My Savior's in that church. And he said, well, there's child molesters that go to church. And it was the first time in my life I was proud to be a Methodist. You know, I was like, hey, you know why I'm in here. And those of you that, you know, do that. 13 days later, they told me to bunk and jump. And I didn't know what in the world God was going to do with me now, you know. We didn't know, they wouldn't tell you what you packed up and left for. And I remember stopping at one jail and a few people get off that bus, a few more come on. I remember pulling into McAlester here and I was thinking, God, please, I haven't been that bad. Don't let me off here. And I was really scared. And when we pulled out of there, I was like, boy, you got a sense of humor. Thank you. You know, and they headed back to Tulsa. I didn't know if I was going to get more time or what. But at the end of the day, I was set free, and that was 53 days of being down there. And I thought, there is God, you know. And I got 8 years on paper. I'm going to add you some more. I got 8 years on paper, and I knew then that I didn't need to go to the 12-step program. And if my 12 steps was done, I'm not ever in trouble again. And I decided every day I wake up, I talk to God. I can't think of a time we don't talk to God. And I met her, and she introduced me to her family. I mean, this was, you know, 1 year later, I met her. She introduced me to her family, and I'm thinking, oh, I got it in with this girl. And about a week later, she said, I want you to meet my friend. I'm going to meet you at Finnegan's Bar and Grill. And I thought, all right, man. If I met her friend, then I must be really doing something well. And we got up to the bar, and her friend wasn't there yet. And this is how good a sense of humor God has. The bartender said, I know you. I know you. And I'm like, I don't know you. And I'm trying to press this girl, please put a lid on it. And he said, no, he's real adamant about it. I know you. And he went and waited on somebody, and he came back and he said, David L. Moss. Yeah, the prison, I know you. And I'm going like, no. You know, look, isn't she pretty? And I know, I'm just, and she's going, he goes, I know, you're my Sally. And she looked at me, what's a Sally? That's a roommate in prison. And she's like, okay. But you know what came out of the guy's mouth the next time was,
thank you.
His best Christmas present I ever got. He said, don't you remember me? I was the guy they thought running down 169 naked. I snorted so much cocaine that I thought the police were going to place some drugs on me. So I just started stripping off the clothes. And he said, but I want to thank you. You saved my life. You calmed me down. You made the CO make sure I could take a shower. And you gave me your coffee cup, you gave me shower shoes, and you talked to me the whole night long. You didn't have to do that. And you talked to me about Jesus, and I just want to thank you that you saved my life.
That's great.
And while I was in prison, waiting to go to court, they threw me a sandwich one time, and it was orange and green. It didn't have Austin Meyer on it at all. I don't know if you can make a deal with God or not, but I said, if you get me out of here, I'm feeding the prisoners. When we met at this church, we decided to help. When they had helped us so much that we'd help the next 2 divorce workshops. You know, because you can see what a difference you make in people's lives and what a difference Jesus can make. You know, when you go through a divorce, you hurt, you know, and I lost everything I worked for 20 years. And we just felt, you know, there's nothing better than to help somebody out. And about 2 years into the divorce, or into prison ministries, I got a tap on my shoulder. And the last thing I talked to Tic Tac, that was my cellie down, you know, my last cellie. It was about that, going to church every night. And I get a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's my old cellie. And man, I was like, high five, here, you need cigarettes, Tic Tac. you know, I'm gonna fix you up.
You videotape this thing.
And we fed him, and we got to talk, and then the last thing I remember,
You just do it.
I was like, Tic Tac, wait a minute, the last thing we talked about was going to church. Now, what are you doing here? And he looked me in the eye and said, you made a difference. And anytime you can make a difference in somebody's life like that, money can't buy that. You know, when you can share the love of Jesus with somebody, it's just incredible. Well, she's got MS, and we dated about 3.5 years. And we wanted to make sure this time, we knew God had put us together. You know, sometimes after being married twice, and been married for so long, we wanted to make sure that God really put us together. So we dated 3.5 years. And she can walk sometimes, and she can't walk other times. So how are we going to get married? And we decided to do it in a hot air balloon. So that way she wouldn't have to walk. And we did a sign up on a Saturday, and the next Saturday we were in the air with a preacher, our best friends. It was the best ride ever. And as we were witnessing to them, you know, about our lives, they turned around and looked at us and said, "You know what the balloon's name is?" And I was like, "I didn't know balloons had names." And she said, "It's called God's Promise." And I still do to this day talk about it, because we know God is in control, and if you look for Him through all things, He's there. And we continued in prayer, and I knew God had called me when I was 16 to stand in front of people and maybe be a preacher. So I started studying to be a preacher, and you know, I thought, boy, the income will be good, and then this and that. And I had a Dr. Pearson was going to help me get my 4-year scholarship to go up to prison. Up to be a preacher. And but you know, God wasn't moving me in any way. You know, I didn't know if I would be content there. And
He was moving you, but in a different direction.
but in a different to what?
What was the idea you got in your head?
Yeah, I don't know, but but I just wasn't moved with it, and now she's moving for love. Why don't you go?
It was the idea of the white stripe.
Oh, well, you know, she's on long-term disability and really can't be anywhere, you know, and she was content with being at home in the house while I went to work and come home, and look at that smile. That never leaves her face. But I was looking for a way that we could get her out and do stuff on the weekend, and we heard that riding horses was good for MS. And while I was at work, I was thumbing through a magazine, and I saw here in Henrietta, they have a real nice bed and breakfast, and you can ride horses. And so we go down there, and the first night straight, we have the whole place to ourselves. It was the springtime, and we had our couple bottles of wine. I fixed her a ribeye. And boy, things were going my way until we went to get on that horse. And that was a fiasco. They weren't set up with ramps or anything, and I'm her other hog. I'll just put her on my back and take her wherever we can go if it doesn't work out. On the way home, I was thinking, oh man, what are we going to do to get her out and about and living life, you know? And I looked over and I said, I know, I'm going to buy all.
The kind you're right, right?
Yes, she was.
My father never let me ride motorcycles growing up because he had a friend die, and I was so big to get on motorcycles growing up. I had no idea they were referred to as cars. I was thinking, a kid might be easier to get
She wasn't a squeal. And you know, Jeremiah 29:11 says, He knows the plans He has for us, declares the Lord, and they're to prosper us, not to harm us, and to give us hope for the future. So we bought an old Harley off the Classic, and boy, being the man of the house, we got to take her to the best places. We're going to Sturgis. And
broken in ride.
that ended up great. We decided to spend 3 days in Estes Park, and before this walker, we had a fold-up tank. And we go up over the mountains and we come back, we stop at a little place to eat breakfast, and I get her off the motorcycle, and I'm starting to undo this tank, and I look up, and she's already walked all the way up over the railroad tie wall, and I'm like, honey, you've been fooling me for 40 years. and so we see how God can really help, you know. Yeah, those sense of humor. And while I was studying to be a preacher, I was like, on the way home from Sturgis that year, it was like, you know, I don't want to be a preacher. I want to ride this motorcycle and go across country and spread the word of God. And so when Dr. Pearson came back and he asked me, hey, how's it going? And I told him I want to put Christ on the front of my Harley and go across the United States spreading the gospel. His mouth just dropped. Well, I don't know how I could help you on that one. And but as we've been talking for the last 3 years, you know, his plan is coming together. My dad got multiple myeloma and last year, a year ago, and that's cancer of the bone, and it went all through his blood, and it's almost like a death sentence. There's no healing it, and I'm kind of one of them guys that need a sign, you know, from God, and I kept praying, Lord, you know, I don't want to take over this business. I know you want me going in the motorcycle direction. And first he puts her, I don't know if you all know Thunder Road magazine. She did a real big article on her about MS. And then it was a bigger article, and I was like, there's a sign. Then they put her in the Thunder Press, which goes to all Harley dealers, you know, and it's a little magazine. And I'm thinking, boy, maybe we are in the right direction. Then Dad gets that multiple myeloma, and this lady that worked next to me came out with this little box, and I'm in a hurry to get to the hospital. And I'm thinking, God, you know, what do you want me to do? Are you there? You know, when you find out your dad's going to die, you know, it really gets you to make you think, are you really going in the right direction? And we get home that night, and I'm thinking, I saw that box, you know, and I brought it with me. I thought maybe I'd show you, but out of all the things,
It's over several years.
Yeah.
We keep, when we met and get married, we were kind of like arguing with God. Are you sure here? You know, and we were kind of, this motorcycle minister, kind of like, are you sure? That he keeps putting things in our path that just surprise us. And this is one of them.
Yeah, and I get home, and you know, I'm kind of like Bill Engvall. Here's your sign. You know, come on, God, show me a sign. But out of all the things that lady could have gave me, she came out with this. And it's a globe with Harley. You know, I felt like, here's your sign.
Don't you remember we have a plan here?
And he let me know that he hadn't forgotten me. And that we did have a plan, and that we were going in the right direction. And so we went ahead, and I decided to take a year off. I wanted to go get her on a bucket list done. You don't know when MS is going to take her all the way down. And we had saved a little money, and we thought, well, let's just go do some things. So we went to Daytona Bike Week and rented a trike. And then we've been to Ohio, Columbus. It was time to go back to Sturgis again this year. And it was the first year we had Christ on our Altar Classic. And we get there, and the first morning out of Deadwood, I'm pushing her in this stroller, and we look over at our bike, and there's 12 people around it taking pictures. And I'm thinking, Lord, man, this is great. I'm glad, you know, I know we didn't have the money, but we got more faith in you than anything. And thank you so much. We're here. Little did I know that night, we let our friends off in Deadwood, and we're going down the highway, you know, 2-lane highway in the Black Hills, and I'm doing about 70 miles an hour, and we're just like, oh man, isn't this great? And I came around the corner, and there's 4 deer right there. And I mean, right in the middle of the road, and all I had time to do was just floor it and duck my head and let Jesus took the wheel. We didn't end up with a scratch one on us.
Didn't even lay it down. The bike went dead. The lights went out.
Yeah, it smashed all our lights, bent the fender.
We didn't even lay it down, kept it out. And from the impact of the deer hitting the bike, it had knocked the switch. And we went to fill on the switch and it started. So, yay. We didn't even know.
Yeah.
We didn't even know that. So he's like, okay, let's go. We gotta get somewhere and get this thing looked at.
Yeah, and I'm trying to wipe stuff on my seat. And I'm trying to be macho at the same time. Yeah, right on. And when we turned to go down the highway, these bikers that were following us said, "God in God's green earth, did you keep that up?" I've never seen that happen before. And they went right by me and they saw Christ on the front of it and they said, never mind, you know. And I was like, "Can we follow you home, grab the city?" And they said, "No, we're following you." I get back and we looked at the bike and it's just a mess except Christ. And I'm thinking, Jesus, and Jesus said, "I've got more stripes on my back than that bike will ever have." Amen. So zip tied it up and carried me on.
Just tied it up and finished driving the rest of the week.
And then people will say, "Well, beautiful picture, but," and then now we were able to give our testimony how Christ.
Amen.
And I don't want to buy another testimony like that one because that scared the dog out.
I heard share that all week in churches. They look bike and Jesus on the front and they're like, that is just beautiful. Where, how did you do that and everything? And they're like, well, what happened? We had it all zip tied back together. So it gave us the opportunity to tell Christians let us through that without even a scratch.
And you know, testimony is so important. You know, today you think of testimony as a guy on the witness stand and put your hand on the Bible and tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me, who? God. And that person that's in that witness stand can either make or break your life. You know, you can either go to jail for life or the death sentence, or you can be set free. And that's how important your personal testimony about Jesus is to somebody. Is you know, just think of those people as your neighbors. And if you're not testifying about how Jesus has moved your life, you've given them a death sentence. You know, if you don't spread the love of Jesus, and that's all we live for. And thank you guys for letting us come and share.
Hey, what size shirt do you wear?
I'm a pretty big old fella.
Small.
Yeah, Jesus small.
Biker small.
I need someone with eyeballs up. I bring my eyeballs around the neck.
But you know, I can feel the Holy Spirit right here. Each and every one of you are just so kind. God, the mighty work of God right here. And this is what it's all about. It's fellowship. You know, he don't care if you drink, you know. He don't care if you smoke cigarettes. What he cares about is that personal relationship you have with him. And how you treat your neighbor. As long as you're loving your neighbor. And there's nothing you can do to keep Jesus from loving you. Nothing. You know what I mean? So, amen. Yeah, maybe a couple more months with me too. I'm praying.